Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Villainous Tournament Arc 2024. It's your boy, Chaos, as always, and today we're looking at the very tippy top of the bracket for AzureHorizon448 against Pumpkin King. This is our penultimate round 1 match. We're getting really close to the end of it, so let's move on into the game and see how it goes. And here we are with the penultimate round 1 match. It is going to see Pumpkin King versus AzureHorizon, otherwise known as Outlast Duo, and Pumpkin King is going to win the dice roll, so he gets to go first. He's going to get to ban, and his ban will be Dio. What a shocker. I haven't seen that one around the block before. Right after Dio just got a game in the last round, immediately banned again, and we're going to see Azure ban Light. I believe Pumpkin is well known as quite a skilled Light player. He played a good bit of them in last year's tournament, I think, and really showed his skill with it. So now our players are deciding who they're going to blind pick into. We have two pretty heavy faders who have been banned here, so probably an open season kind of deal for some characters that are weaker to heavy fading, but we'll see, because there are still other characters like Cell and Father available. We're going to see Orochimaru and Isabella. Ooh, I accidentally just hit my mic as I was crossing my arms there and thought, What a matchup this is gonna be. Okay, these guys will figure out how to do this eventually. Just give them a second. It's their first time. First match in 2024. They're a little nervous. But, Orochi versus Isabella, this isn't really a matchup I've seen all that much that I can recall. There wasn't an Orochi Isabella earlier in this tournament, was there? No, I don't think so. We've seen a couple of Orochis. We've seen an Isabella or two, I think. I've recorded 6 matches in the past, 5 days. It's all kind of blurring together for me a little bit. Orochi's going second here, which means he gets a mulligan if he wants it, and I think Azure looks like he is going to take it. He's debating it. He has to keep in mind not just his hand signs, but also that he's going second. Ooh, okay, so he had Sealed Coffin in hand, but double Curse Seal and Shed Skin is not very good, so I think that was probably a good mulligan call on his part, to be honest. And then Pumpkin is going to get to go first. He's got to immediately flip his tile, and he's going to go straight to the gate. He's not going to take the turn 1 fate. He's instead... Oh, he started with Demon List. That makes a lot of sense on not bothering with the turn 1 fate. Got Phil immediately. Didn't get a 5 strengther, but Phil is still useful. He's going to play Phil straight to the small forest. And then he's just going to immediately play playing tag to get a -1 on Phil. That will protect Phil from being lost to... It's not Prison Break. I don't remember what card it is. The card that makes it where if you don't have a strength token, you get discarded. Then we're going to see Azure go over to Forest of Death. He's going to gain 1, and he drew Sealed Coffin again. That's very funny. And he's going to play Forbidden to gain 1, followed by... Does he have a third card to play? No third card to play. He's just going to discard everything. He's going to bother with Reincarnation. He's going to go for a Fate. And that Fate is going to give him Norman and Fire, so getting a 5 strengther here is pretty good. And is he going to take care of Fate Pressure or Grace Field? It looks like he decided on wanting to block the small forest to weaken that Fate Pressure immediately. And that will be the end of his turn. Very strong turn for both players, immediately getting their most important items and getting things underway. Pumpkin King, very clearly not pleased with this. He's going to head over to Grassy Field to exert some Fate Pressure. He's going to put down Face Down and throw 2 tokens on that. Get rid of its time to go. First Fate on Orochi is going to be Lee in Recovery Mission. Recovery Mission is dead, but Lee is a pretty good first Fate. And he will be putting Lee at Otagakuri, making the odds of him getting fated this turn very low, because Orochi hates going to a covered Otagakuri unless he has a way to open it, or at least to clash with whoever's there. Does Azure have a way to weaken Lee so that he could potentially Fate Clash him later? He does have a Curse Seal. Why do so many people do this sideways thing? I hate it, man. I hate it. After the Curse Seal, what else are we going to see? Another Curse Seal. Okay, you can't do that. If only. It would make getting Sasuke's strength down fast, way easier. Instead, he's going to throw down a Reincar. Those are matching hand seals. So he has to use his other Curse Seal, then Reincar. And then he can do the the forbidden experiments. There he goes. So now he's got that set up to deal with Lee, and he has a Reincar in place on Pumpkin King. I think the only chance of Reincar going off is a Crone sack, unfortunately. Not super likely to work on Isabella, but it is a possibility. We're going to see Pumpkin King go over to the gate to gain another 3. He's going to get his bell out, one of the most important tools for Isabella, and he's also going to schedule another card. So he's got 2 cards that will be played next turn, or revealed at least, and then he can choose to play them or not. Orochi is going to take the Otagakuri turn here. I could see him going to Otagakuri or Forest of Death, and it is going to be the Forest of Death. Is this Kabuto being played right now? Spending a lot. He is going to get Kabuto out. But man, he gets his cards right up on his actions there. Holy cow. Following Kabuto, we're going to see a body mod to look at the top 5. Thank you, Never Early. It's like he heard me. What a good judge he is. Don't tell him I said that. I don't want him to think that he's doing a good job or anything. And then we're going to see, he didn't discard anything from that body mods, I think, which is very intriguing. Must have some really nice cards coming up. I think he just reordered them a little bit, if anything. Emma and Connie got another 5-strengther here, but also Connie is pretty good for the funny opportunity, because it will allow Azure to move Isabella probably to the bottom fate. And indeed, that is exactly what's going to happen. Exactly what's going to happen. Is he changing his mind? Emma is a very strong 5-strengther. Able to take that -1 off of Phil, among other things. But honestly, I kind of agree with the Connie play. And then that'll be the end of his turn. We're going to see Bedtime and Harvest here. So Harvest is going to hit Norman and get him out of there. And then Bedtime is just not going to be played because it accomplishes nothing. This does open the small forest for Pumpkin King. It depends on if he wants to go there or not, and indeed he does, it looks like. He's going to move Phil over to Grassy Field. He's going to discard They Know. But what do they know? Going to throw a 2-token schedule on this. That's probably a nighttime card, if I had to guess. Sasuke and Tsunade. Pretty good fate to get Tsunade here. Probably just going to go straight on the Forest of Death. I could see a world where it goes to Tanzaku, and I think that Pumpkin King can see that world, but he's actually going to throw her at Konoha. Very far away from Kabuto, which is fair. Is Azure going to go to Tanzaku instead of getting rid of Lee here? Interesting. We're going to see a discard on Substitution Jutsu, and then, because he has the old Jirobo play. So now he can just clash Rock Lee that way and get Jirobo in a pretty decent position at Tanzaku. You normally like to have Jirobo at the Forest of Death, but I honestly think Tanzaku is probably the second best place for him to be at. There's also an argument for Otagakuri. We're going to see Pumpkin King go over to Grassy Field and use free time to get Phil down to 0, and then some heavy discarding, getting some more fate pressure. Naruto and Sarutobi, both pretty good fates here. Sarutobi is probably the one to go for with that 5 strength. Throwing him over top of the Forest of Death, blocking that top fate, understandable. We do already have the Sealed Coffin out, so Azure is just 3 strength. I was going to say 4. He's just 3 strength away from being able to play Sasuke. He's going to go to Otagakuri and get a fate. He got the other 5 strengther. He's pulled all 3 of them. Not a great time for Isabella. And that is going to let Azure, at the cost of having to put Ray specifically at Grassy Field, shuffle that bell back in, which will be a bit of a headache for Pumpkin King. I think that's about all Azure can do. He gained 2 and he faded. He can't activate... Well, he could activate Kabuto, actually, and that might be what he's debating right now. If whatever matching hand signs he has in hand are worth ditching to get his hands on a more opportune card, and I think that is exactly what's happening. I imagine the card he's probably going to be picking here is Manda, assuming these other 2 cards in his hand are decent for doing so. He can very easily kill Sarutobi and uncover, or even try and get Tsunade out of her here, because her ability is very annoying. This revealed card is Family Dinner, which cannot be afforded, so it's just going to do nothing. We're going to see Pumpkin King go and use a daily report at the small forest to gain 3 at Connie's location. And then move Phil closer to the gate. And then we're going to see Gara. Gara. Honestly, I was about to say, Gara there, or even at the top fate, maybe. Honestly, I probably would have moved Kabuto, like, way over to Konoha and moved Tsunade to Otagakuri. That would be super painful. Orochimaru would hate that. And honestly, I might have... Man, blocking Tanzaku is probably the right play, but I would have even considered blocking Forest of Death because the odds of Manda being in hand are super high right now. But moving Jirobo away so that the allies are all at Otagakuri doing nothing, basically, while all the heroes are out here is also fair. We're going to see a 4 Violet Barrier. That's going to be a huge help for Azure going forward. Then Azure is going to spend 2 on Kitamaro, and then are we going to see the Snake? We are going to see the Snake to eat Sarutobi, and that will immediately allow Azure to follow up with a Fate. Mom is an enemy. This is the one, right? Yeah, discard, discards a former hero if they don't have any strength tokens. Instead, he's just going to take 2 of the minus tokens off of Phil. That will protect Phil from getting gated anytime soon. Where is Pumpkin King going to go? He's going to go over to the gate and gain another 3. He's got a lot of power to work with. He could Demon List again. Oh, he's going to get Crone out. That makes a lot of sense. He could Demon List again. I think he's guaranteed to get Gilda. He's going to throw out a premium farm. He'd probably like to see... I think Dawn hasn't come by yet either, so he only has 3 Strengthers at the moment. He really wants a 5 Strengther for his last one. We're going to see Azure use Kabuto again, which I highly respect. Lark and I have a difference of belief in how important Kabuto can be or not. I think Kabuto can be really important. Lark usually discards him because he costs 3 power. So I always love to see him being used. We're going to see Dawn here, taking away some of Isabella's stockpiled power and blocking that top fate. Tsunade is still here causing problems, but it's hard to say which player has more tempo at the moment. Oh, and we're going to see a Harvest from Pumpkin King. He's not going to kill Dawn, though. He's going to get Ray out of there. He really wanted that discard and that power gain, which is entirely fair. And there's Jiraiya. Jiraiya is going to be a major pain here, especially with no one at the Forest of Death to really deal with it at the moment. But Azure is going to the Forest of Death anyway, and he's going to spend all 3 on Kimimaro. He's got Kitamaro here, so the 2 of them combined, he will be able to kill Jiraiya next turn. And I believe with Sister Crone where she's at, there's no way that Pumpkin can open this top fate. Not open it and be there at the same time, at least. Instead, he's going to go to the gate, get another chunk of power. He's going to play some playing tag, get Phil a little weaker, as well as get a token on Dawn, which will make it a lot easier for him to use Sister Crone to try and kill her. Could we even see a time to go here to get Crone to kill Dawn? No, we will not. Back over to the ranch. Back over at Azure, he's going to trigger Carrying Mother, and then Carrying Mother, choose a hero. Yeah. It's going to be a -1 on Connie, so they're set up to die to Crone now. There's Gilda, so now's the time to look at trying to use Demon List again, because now I believe there are 7 heroes. Here's all 4 3-strengthers. So whether Azure plays Gilda or not, there will be a very good chance for Pumpkin King to pull a 5-strengther, and that's what you really want is Isabella, is 1 5-strengther and 1 3-strengther. And I think that Azure is realizing that and is considering not playing Gilda to keep that, to not necessarily guarantee the, whatchamacallit? What just happened here? Oh, okay, I see. That was a big change. So Gilda moved Phil, and then Phil moved Connie. And now with Connie here, Azure, now that Connie has been moved, Azure gets to move Isabella. Holy cow, that's a bigger chain than I expected. And it looks like he's leaving him at the small forest? Interesting. We're going to see the Vanquished with Kimimaro, and he actually used 4 Violet Barrier to get a -1 on Jiraiya to save the use of Kitamaro. And now he's got Kimimaro set up to deal with Tsunade at a later turn, as long as he gets a -1 on her as well. We're going to see a daily report for the move action at Sister Crone's location to move Sister Crone into Connie and defeat her. Sister Crone is not discarded because Connie had a -1 on her. Discarding Grandmother Sarah, normally a must-play card in my experience for Isabella from what I've seen other people doing. Ooh, okay, decomposing is always a bit of a headache, but recovery mission could actually be really strong here. I'd probably just move Tsunade to the Forest of Death. Pumpkin King is going to take a look at what's in the discard pile and see how likely it is that Azure has a bad hand, because if Azure has a bad hand right now, I don't think we've seen a lot of his schemes go by, for instance, like Substitution and Shedskin, although there's one on top of the discard right there. The odds that he has more than like 1, maybe 2 pretty good cards in his hand, probably pretty low, but it looks like Pumpkin has decided that whatever he saw in the discard means that it's easy enough for him to get rid of it. We do see a Curse Seal go by, as well as Forbidden Experiments, so pretty good hit with it, to be honest. Azure is going to go over to the Forest of Death. He's going to put a knife on Kimimaro. That'll be able to deal with Tsunade, and also weaken Gara, potentially. Azure is trying to figure out what this last card is, seeing if he wants to multi-fate or full fate. All 3 5-strengthers are in the discard. I imagine you probably just want to go for the full fate. It was a guaranteed Mom is an enemy, and he's going to hit it on Dawn to stop the free uncover with Sister Crone at Small Forest. Very fair. Very fair play. And then that will just be the end of his turn as he draws back up. Pumpkin King is going to head over to the gate here, gain 3. He is not going to go to the Small Forest and sacrifice Crone, which makes a lot of sense because he wants to activate the Demon List. He has a very high chance, a 75% chance of getting a 5-strengther here. And he did get Emma. Maybe not the best 5-strengther to pull, but a 5-strengther nonetheless. And he is going to throw Emma straight over to Gracefield House. Does he have a bedtime? If he does, he has to schedule it. He can't do it right now because I believe it's nighttime. He's going to get to play the bell and get it back out, which is very good. So he's got his kill targets, Phil and Emma, and Azure is not happy about it. Azure is really hoping to hit a Mom is an enemy. One of them was discarded there. Oh, that's sideways now because of the challenge. We're going to see the activate for 4 Violet Barrier to get Sasuke out, so Kimimaru's Poison Kunai will likely be hitting Sasuke rather than Gara, I imagine, here. Having to lose Manda on the Kimi play hurts. It's unfortunate when you have your hand signs like that. He should not have gained 1 there. That is not where he put Sealed Coffin. That will get rid of Tsunade. Are we going to see Kimi moved back to Gara? Honestly, I could see Kimi going to Forest of Death instead, and it seems like Azure can see that reality as well. And then he's going to get to Fate. He really wants to see the other copy of Mom as an enemy here. And he got it. Wow. So that's probably going to be a discard on Emma. He could also take the strength tokens off of Phil to put him back at 0 and just completely set back Pumpkin King's progress. Pumpkin King does have a really easy chance at a 5-strengther. It's a 2 out of 3 because there's a 3-strengther in the Fate deck and there are 2 5-strengthers. And it looks like he is in the end just going to let Pumpkin King keep Emma and heal up Phil instead, which makes a lot of sense because Emma can be really annoying with her ability compared to the other 5-strengthers. We're going to see a bedtime play here, which is going to get a -3 on Gilda and Emma. Gilda's at 0 now, and Emma is just at 2. Some heavy discarding, followed by a Fate. Kakashi's pretty good here, honestly. I'd probably just plop him right at the Forest of Death. It puts him in Kimimaro's sights, but that's fine. It is what it is. And that will be Pumpkin's turn. Yeah, Azure does not really have a good location to go to here, all things considered. He's going to go to the Forest of Death, which means he must have some cards he wants to play. Forbidden Experiments into Kabuto. Very interesting. Oh, he's going to get Manda out here. Very, very good lineup of hand signs and cards for Azure there. That was a very, very good setup. Having the correct hand signs to be able to play Forbidden into Kabuto into Manda is very nice. We're going to see him pull Connie here. Along with Prison Break, he's just going to throw Connie back at the gate to cover that top Fate. He could move Isabella, but Isabella, honestly, is probably exactly where he wants her to be, and that is the case. He's just going to leave it as is. We're back to daytime for Pumpkin King. Taking a look at his hand, figuring out what he wants to do. Still not sacrificing Sister Crone to get Dawn off that top fate. Wants to keep Sister Crone. Oh, we're going to see, and it's time to go. Moving Crone and Emma. Crone will be able to vanquish Gilda here and get her out of there. She has minus. She was at 0 even. It doesn't even matter that she has minus tokens. So, no loss of Sister Crone. And now Emma is just a little bit closer to the gate at 2 strength, while Phil is at 3. And, oh, True Colors to clash with Connie, and then we'll be able to open the small forest next turn. Very strong play from Pumpkin King. He's going to get a lot of control back of his territory here, and Azure's not happy about it, evidenced by going to Fate here. Taking a quick little look-see at what Fates could be coming up. Using Sakon and Ukon to move Kirimaro and Kimimaro makes a lot of sense. So now he can do the Gara kill and keep Kimi alive. And he will move Kimi right back to the Forest of Death to keep that top Fate safe. Wants to make sure that he can really keep his Fate pressure available for Isabella. Gonna see Prison Break, which is gonna move Emma straight to the gate. Emma is not weak enough for that to really work out for Pumpkin at the moment, so he's gonna have to, more than likely, I think there's like Litany Test and maybe Carrying Mother that can put tokens on at the gate, but more than likely gonna have to move Emma out of there. I imagine we're gonna see Pumpkin King go to Small Forest here just to get the easy Dawn kill, unless he really wants to get out of True Colors, but he is just going to go straight to Dawn, get that kill. And then throw down Teferi Offerings. Yeah, pretty likely to trigger on Orochimaru, I would say. Feel like he draws a lot. We're going to see a multi-fate for Dead Demon Consuming Seal here. Pretty good time to get it when Orochi is already at Odagakuri. This is probably going to be a discard hand, gain 1 fate turn from Azure. Emma being moved back over to Small Forest. Gotta get her a little further out to get ready on Weakening. Losing Summon Rashman there probably hurts a little bit. Could have had a really good Summon Rashman turn by moving Kitamaro or Kimimaro and getting an easy -2 on Sasuke with it. We're going to see Ray to shuffle right back in the bell. Azure just refuses to let Pumpkin keep that incredibly powerful item. And now Teferi Offerings is proccing, so Isabella is going to be able to set 2 cards from her hand face down for free and place any amount of schedule tokens, 1 to 5, any amount, up to 5, because that's how the character works. And it looks like it's going to be 1 card that will be played immediately. Is that all? Alright, there we go. It's daytime. What is this card going to be? Hopefully not Strength Loss because True Colors is in play. It's going to be Carrying Mother, which is Strength Loss, but will trigger later. And that's going to be the loss of True Colors. Very, very big use. Ooh, and a Playing Tag to get Emma at 1 strength and to give a -1 on Ray, which is very good, along with some discarding. The Carrying Mother here can get Emma to 0 and is pretty likely to proc against Orochi. Recovery and Shuriken. Honestly, it's going to be, I think the best play here is Recovery Sasuke to Odagakuri. Make him go to Konoha to immediately replay Sasuke if he wants. Yes, I think that is the only right play here. There's maybe a small world where you could Shuriken Kimimaro, but I honestly don't think that's worth it with Kitamaro in play. Like he is. This is, makes a pretty bad turn for Azure, all things considered. He is going to go straight to Konoha. He'll get to do some movement. He's going to move the Sealed Coffin, which is a good call, I would say. Makes a lot of sense. And then he still has the Strength of Allies to activate Sasuke back over. He's going to activate... Oh, instead of activating the Coffin, he's going to move Jirobo and Sakon and Ukon. Interesting. Fair enough. I feel like I would have preferred Jirobo over at Odagakuri at this point, but this makes it pretty easy for him to move Jirobo back to Forest of Death, so I can understand what he's going for here. We're going to see a Curse Seal, followed by a Killing Intent, and then lastly a Substitution Jutsu. That'll definitely help him with some positioning, and that's going to be a total of -2 on Sasuke, and we're also going to see a 7-card body mod which is very good going into the reshuffle for Azure. He can get rid of a lot of cards that he doesn't want to see in coming turns and really dig for his more important ones, like killing. What he wants right now is Killing Intent, maybe summon Rashomon. He wants Manda again, because Manda, the more you can cycle Manda, the better. Those are the big ones, really. And then Forbidden Experiments for power gain, because he's very low on power right now, so he really wants Forbidden Experiments to replenish all that he's lost. Thinking very hard about this turn, or about this body mods, rather. Gonna ditch Reincar. I think ditching Reincar, only ditching Reincar, must have had a lot of good cards there. I think ditching Reincar there was a very, very good choice, because he doesn't really need it right now when he can just dig through his deck to get to Manda. Manda's really the only thing he wants Reincar for right now. Could also get to Yuya, but Yuya is quite niche unless you're Lark last game. We're gonna see a Radar play immediately into a move to move Sister Crone over. He's actually going to move Ray off of the top fate. Very fair. And then he's going to do a daily report to do a move at Emma's location for Sister Crone to kill Ray, to open back up his entire board. Looking pretty good. And if Azure wants to fate this turn, he has to give Pumpkin Carrying Mother, which will probably put Emma to 0. Yes, so this is a pretty strong position for Pumpkin. However, Orochimaru has a very nice board setup, with only Sasuke out and starting to weaken him. We're going to see Norman and Ray pulling both of the 5 strengthers at once is a little less than ideal. It looks like he is going to target the Radar and get that out of there. He's not going to worry about blocking up Fate pressure or whatnot, which is understandable. He wants to get that extra movement tool away from Pumpkin. And then we're going to see an activate on the 4 Violet Barrier, which costs 1 and then nets 1 because of Sealed Coffin to weaken Sasuke. Emma is at the gate. And there's free time to get -2 on Phil. And on the Fate, we're going to see Lee and Jiraiya. Probably Lee at Forest of Death here, but Jiraiya is also a good play. The thing is that 5 of the 7 allies are in play right now, so Jiraiya isn't incredible. But he's still a 4-strengther, and he still costs, so it's very, still quite useful. We're going to see a Forbidden Experiments. I assume this is for, oh, it's going to be for Kabuto again. Azure loves his Kabuto plays. Is he going to take Manda again here? Does he have another Manda play set up? We're going to see another Forbidden. This one is probably going to be for 4 Violet, which will also net him 1 back, and then 2 for Manda. Yes, did he spend 2 for that? I wasn't looking closely enough. I hope he spent 2 for it. Jiraiya's out. There we go. And then we'll be able to eat Jiraiya, and that was 3 card plays, so Sasuke loses another one. Those Kabuto Forbidden Experiments hand signs have gone very well for Azure. He's gotten a very lucky assortment of both Forbidden and 2 cards he doesn't mind ditching that can play into Manda, of all things. Very, very nice hand setup. We're going to see a Prison Break to move Phil to the Small Forest, which is interesting, which allows him to move Ray to the top fate. He has moved Phil a little bit closer, and he's opened back up the gate for Pumpkin. Although Pumpkin really doesn't care about the gates activate right now. Does he have a Harvest in hand to get Emma? He does indeed, so that will harvest Emma. And now he just has to get Phil. Phil only needs 1 more minus. And then just got to get moved over there and then either get Harvest or Vita, one or the other. Following that, Pumpkin is going to schedule a card for 2 turns from now. And I believe he drew back up, so it's probably... Oh, it is Azure's turn. They hit the clock. Well, unless Azure has a really good hand to play out, he probably goes to Otagakure here, gets another -1 on Sasuke, and then fates. Yep. And then he's really going to be looking to get Sasuke to 0 on his next turn. It's possible he could draw, what's her name here, Connie? Or is she in that? I think she might be. Nope, there she is. Connie is actually great here. Fate locking could go a long way against Pumpkin. Gonna hit him with the funny. I feel like I might have played Connie to the small forest here for to stop the crone sack for Ray, but it looks like Pumpkin is unwilling to do that sack anyway. So that's going to put Phil at 0 and get Ray a -1, which will allow Sister Crone to kill him. And then Phil is in position. This could be a harvest. But if it is a harvest, actually, Pumpkin can't afford it. So he needs Vita or something similar to do this, or to have harvest in hand. Azure is immediately going to fate. He doesn't like what he's seeing here. He's going to do the funny on Connie again, just to ensure that there's not a fate on him next turn, which could honestly be a game decider, depending on what he can do here. He really just needs to be able to get Sasuke to 0 right now, and then he could potentially just have the game on lock if he has 1 power. We're going to see a Curse Seal, Poison Kunai on Kitty to really make Kitty just unstoppable. Oh, maybe not. Gonna body mods first, actually. Fair. I don't know if his White Snake is in the discard right now. If his White Snake is in the discard, unless he's planning on Kabutoing, he probably just discards everything. The issue here is that if he doesn't have a card that can give Sasuke another -1, he can't put himself at win con. And Isabella is very close to win con herself. And then we're going to see a summon Rashomon, which will get Sasuke to 0. So Orochi has win on board here. I think we're checking to make sure everything was legal. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, Orochi has win on board. When he draws 4 cards, it's impossible for him to not have 2 matching hand signs, which means he can just go here, use Kabuto with the activate to get it, and then lo and behold. So Isabella needs to either be able to fate here or to win the game. I'm not sure if Isabella can win the game here. You're going to see a daily report to gain 3, and then throw down Vita and use Vita to get into Showdown. But I think that was all the card play, so I'm afraid Isabella cannot get rid of Connie here and thus win Showdown. And Azure has a guaranteed Sasuke kill. He even had White Snake in hand, didn't even need to use Kabuto. And man, what a game. Literally down to the wire, just like a turn off from either player winning. Isabella easily had this with a time to go, which Isabella did have in hand. So just an incredible game. Very, very close. Those Kabuto Manda turns from Azure were insane. Very, very much helped him keep the tempo. But yeah, great stuff from both players. Incredible showing. Very even matchup. Like I said, I don't think I've really seen this matchup before. Very even game, I would say, all things considered. So great stuff for our first round here, with Azure coming out on top. Man, they delete everything so slowly. And so now, with that, I don't think I'm going to need a jump cut. I think, yeah, these guys are they're quick on the uptake here. And they're just going to go straight into their next game. So let's see what we've got. Now, Pumpkin is going to be our starting player again. I believe he was the starting player before. So he is going to get to ban first once more. I believe he banned Dio, right? It was Dio banned by Pumpkin, and then Azure banned Light, I want to say. Pumpkin is thinking very hard about his ban this time. He's going to get to counterpick Azure. So he probably wants to do a more targeted ban rather than just a blanket, I don't want to fight against Dio ban that he did before. His ban will be, it will just be Dio again. He was considering, but he was like, at the end of the day, I don't want to play against Dio. And I can respect that. Sometimes you just don't want to have to go up against a villain, and you're like, if I don't want to go up against the villain, then I'm just going to get him out of here. Azure is going to ban Light again, so we're going to see the same bans as round 1. And then Azure should be picking first here, shouldn't he? What is Pumpkin doing? Oh, he's just going ahead and looking at his... I didn't see the search thing on Azure's deck at first. I thought only Pumpkin was looking. I was like, that's not how that's supposed to go. Azure is thinking very hard about who he wants to play. I imagine we could see maybe Croc or Loxus. As I've said, Loxus is pretty good into a lot of different matchups. He's pretty neutral into a bunch of them. So I know Azure plays quite a bit of Loxus. So we could see him pull out Loxus here and hope for that overall agnostic matchup. Is agnostic the word? No, agnostic is like when you don't believe in any religion, isn't it? I don't know. Can you use the word agnostic like the way I think you can? He's gonna play Isabella now. Oh my, we're gonna see Azure play Isabella now. Where's my phone? I have to Google the word agnostic. What word am I thinking of? Is it agnostic? A person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God from anything beyond material phenomena. Okay, yeah, so I'm thinking of a different word. My bad. While I was looking at my phone, I see we have an Isabella mirror now. I can't even say this properly because I'm literally shaking in fear at the idea of having to commentate an Isabella mirror. The only thing worse than having to commentate this is having to judge it, so never early, you have my condolences. Oh yeah, Isabella is going to start in Showdown. That'll make a really big difference. Azure's going second. He did choose to mulligan. And here we go. Straight to the small forest this time. Last time it was the gate the Pumpkin went to, I believe. We're going to see a premium farm thrown out. Oh, his hand just sucks. We're just going to see a big discard of like his entire hand while playing premium farm. Makes sense why he went there. We're going to get Connie and Ray out the gate. Could hit him with the Connie Funny. Could go ahead and throw out a 5 strength he has to deal with. I feel like Connie is probably the play because due to how Sister Crone works, Isabella normally doesn't really care. When it comes to defeating a hero, Isabella normally doesn't really care if they are 5 or 3 strength because of Sister Crone and True Colors. And very interesting, Pumpkin is not afraid to be fated at all and is instead just going to take away all power options for Azure out of turn 1. Very interesting. Azure is going to follow that up by playing the Bell and then doing a bit of discarding himself. I thought that was Azure shuffling for the Fate. Discarding Harvest, and they know. Followed by a Fate, and I believe that's a dead one, unfortunately. So, Pumpkin has won the battle of the opening Fates. Good for him. Sounds like a Star Wars sequence. Probably because it sounds like Duel of the Fates. And Pumpkin once again got an early demon list and immediately picked up a 5-strengther in Norman with it. Does he have bedtime as well? Ooh, okay. This Isabella mirror is very much in Pumpkin's favor out the gate, but anything can happen, of course. But Azure is definitely playing from behind right out the gate, I would say. However, Azure does have both Bell and Radar, which is pretty good. Getting rid of a bunch of other cards that he doesn't need or can't afford right now. Getting rid of True Colors, even. Whoa, bit of lag. No worries there. Second Fate is going to get Dawn and Connie. Playing from behind like this, it's hard to say. I think we'll probably see the funny of Connie at Small Forest and then putting Isabella at Bottom Fate. Yep. It means that Pumpkin is going to take a pretty good turn of gaining power and potentially activating and whatnot. He could even activate Demon List at the gate again here. But Azure really needs to protect himself a little bit from Fate pressure at the moment. That's a really big deal for him. We're going to see Carrying Mother thrown out, and then a Playing Tag to get a -1 on Connie, so now she is a target for Sister Crone and the like. Didn't decide to go ahead for another Demon List, which is fair. Azure is going to go to the gate himself now. Does he maybe have his own Demon List ready to go? Spin into on something. No, it's Sister Crone. Getting Sister Crone ready to kill Connie at a later date or open the Small Forest. Also going to throw out a premium farm. Everyone wants power here. Where is Pumpkin going to go? Grassy Field? Grassy Field indeed. Probably wants to do some discarding. Throw out a card or two. He's going to put down Tafaria Offerings. Follow that with a Fate. Dawn is pretty decent here. Take away that 1 power. He's going to cover the Small Forest. Sister Crone is set up to be able to kill either of these two, but it would cost Sister Crone because there are no minus tokens. So, not the best for Azure to try and use her at the moment. And Azure, meanwhile, is going to go for a Fate. He's going to get Fire and Mom as an enemy. Going to take 2 of those strength tokens off of Norman. Get him back up to 4 strength. Keep him healthy for a while longer. He's going to schedule a card. And then discard a bunch. This is going to trigger Tifaria Offerings for Pumpkin. So you can schedule up to 2 cards. Up to 2 cards. 3 turns on that. Okay. And that's going to be it. Is not going to throw down another one. So this card is scheduled for the day. Going back over to the gate. Sister Crone is out on both sides now. Are you going to see in It's Time to Go? Doesn't really need to, but he is going to. This does also... I was going to say he doesn't really need to because he can go here to the small forest and move Crone, but he can go ahead and do it now. This is also going to let him either move Norman or move Sister Crone back to Grassy Field, I believe. Or no, I don't think you can double move Crone like that and still use her in the Vanquish. I think. I don't play Isabella. I don't know exactly how that works. We're gonna see scheduled playing tag going off to hit Dawn. And that will allow Azure to go over to the small forest and kill him. That's gonna trigger the premium farm. And does not trigger Caring Mother because Crone was moved there, was not there when Azure went there. Emma is a very good get here. The question is, do you take the strength off of Norman or cover the top fate? And I think taking the strength off of Norman is probably the better call here, I would say. As well as blocking Gracefield House, making it a quite undesirable location. And Azure has finally got his demon list, so he can start getting his own heroes out and start weakening them down. So Azure started a bit on the back foot. I think is caught up pretty efficiently now. The board states are looking very similar to one another. We are going to see a bedtime on Emma and Norman here, which is going to get them weaker. So I'd say that Pumpkin King is still just a little ahead of the curve. He's going to move Norman over to Grassy Field. Just leave Emma as B for now. Pumpkin King does not like Grandmother Sarah. Today I've learned. Then Pumpkin's going to play Phil, probably. Insider knowledge isn't going to do anything here. What does Phil do again? They may move a hero to Phil's new location. Could move... honestly, I'd probably double stack Small Forest with Phil and Connie. And then that would move Connie and put Isabella at Grassy Field. But I also understand this play because it's stopping the gain power at gate and use demon list, which is very fair. Focusing more on slowing down his opponent rather than protecting himself from fates to speed up his own game. I can respect it. And so that means Azure is going to go to Grassy Field and Fate, and he's going to get Prison Break and Ray. Going to move Norman all the way over to the gate, so Norman's going to more than likely need to be moved out there. Also, it's going to trigger Norman getting rid of They Know by discarding a face down, leaving Ray in the deck for later. Gonna get some discards from Azure following that. And anything else? Did he play a card yet? I don't think so. He is going to schedule a card for later. Just one? Maybe two? Two? Three! Okay, gonna be waiting on that card for a while. And that will be his turn. We're back over to Pumpkin. Pumpkin is going to keep the fate pressure going, heading over to Grassy Field here. Gaining some power, throwing out another premium farm, really wants to build up his power. He's going to discard Vita and Litany Test. Following that, hit a fate. And he's going to get Emma as well as Mom as an enemy. Mom as an enemy doesn't do much here, but throwing Emma on that top fate when Crone, especially when Crone is already there, is going to be pretty annoying for Azure. He's got a very messed up territory right now. He really needs to find an opportunity to activate the demon list and get himself a hero underway. We're going to see a playing tag to get -1 on Emma. And then what else? He's going to throw Caring Mother over at the other Isabella. Probably wants to get a strength token on the other heroes so that Crone can start cleaning up for him. Pumpkin is going to go over to Small Forest, get Norman back out of the gate. Doesn't need to be there just yet. Ooh, was that a play of the Harvest? Is he killing Emma with Harvest here? I think he's debating if he wants to or not. Changing his mind. And instead just throwing another Caring Mother down on Azure. Followed by a Fate. Mom is an enemy and Prison Break, so probably some moving is going to happen here. Oh no, using Mom as an enemy to get the strength token off of Emma. Also fair. And that will be Pumpkin's turn. Azure is going over to Gracefield, probably to activate the demon list. He really needs to get someone out. He's going to get Gilda. And does he have bedtime as well? He does have bedtime, so he's going to be able to clash with Connie here, actually, to get her out of there, as well as get Gilda straight to 0 strength. Fairly strong turn, I would say. And that is going to trigger premium farm for the other Isabella. So Pumpkin has a lot of power to work with right now. Gonna go over to Grassy Field, gain 1. And then just hit the Fate. Prison Break and Norman. Prison Break can't hit Gilda here, but could move Emma. It would open the top Fate, but it would strengthen Gilda back up. But playing Norman and getting rid of the face down seems like a better call. That'll get rid of free time. Which actually would have been dead, wouldn't have done anything other than the fact that Norman was played there. But Norman got rid of it, so if Norman hadn't been played, it would have been a whiff unless another hero had been played there other than Norman. We're going to see a playing tag from Pumpkin. Norman is at -4. He really just needs a Carrying Mother to trigger, but at the moment, the only place that triggers is the Small Forest for Azure, and Azure does not seem keen to let that happen. We're going to see Azure play a free time, so now Crone can be used to kill Norman without losing her. And then we're going to see a Fate with Gilda and Insider's Knowledge. Going to use Gilda to block the gate. Probably doesn't want to let Pumpkin go ahead and get out his next hero. Is Gilda going to move anyone? Gonna move Crone over to the gate. Interesting. Not the best position for her. Keeps Gilda safe, for sure. For at least a little bit. Outside of a time to go, of course. We're going to see a Harvest here from Pumpkin to just go ahead and kill Gilda and get her out of there. Is he going to move Norman over to the gate? No, he's going to move Sister Crone back to the Small Forest. He's debating. He's going to move Norman back to Grassy Field, actually. Interesting. Expecting to have a card that can hit him there specifically, I assume. And then a Fate right before the reshuffle. We're going to see another Prison Break. Or potentially Fire could be played, I guess. I'd never expect for it to be played because I've, never seen it played. I think the only real good move here is probably Emma into either Gilda or Norman, to be honest, but that does open back up the top Fate for Azure. But Azure also has no power right now to do anything at the Small Forest other than Fate and a single move. I feel like if you move Emma, you actually kind of have to aim for Norman here so that Crone just can't kill him for free. Kill Norman, that is, but it is actually going to be Emma to Gilda, which is also fair. Norman is going to get right back into rotation here, so that makes sense. And now Gilda needs to be weakened again. And that will be the end of Pumpkin's turn. Has this game really only been going for 15 minutes? I feel like it's been so much longer than that. Azure taking a look at what fates he could possibly get if he chooses to go to the Small Forest here. In the end, he's going to go to the gate and get some power. He is very much low and needs to recover. Still not triggering Carrying Mother. Neither player is. Turns out that Isabella doesn't trigger it that much. We're going to see Grandmother Sarah played by Azure, and then probably a scheduled card for just 1, so that Grandmother Sarah will make it cheap on this next turn, and that is indeed how it's going to go. That will be Azure's turn. What is Pumpkin going to do this turn? This game must just feel longer than it's actually been because it's Isabella. There's just so much happening. We're going to see Pumpkin throw down Radar, discard a little bit. Looking at his deck. Probably deciding if he wants to try and use Bell or not. And instead, he's just going to go for a reshuffle, I believe. Indeed, he is. We're going to see a Fate on Azure, get his Fate deck reshuffled. We're going to see Connie and Dawn. Connie to Small Forest, and then Isabella to Grassy Field could be pretty strong here. Or Dawn just to take away power, so that both of these are pretty strong plays. Again, I think this comes down to something we saw earlier, which is, oh, you know what he could have done here is Connie to Grassy Field, or Connie anywhere. And then, or no, Connie works there too. Connie there, and then Grassy Field, do the funny. It guarantees the Caring Mothers to trigger. Well, if he puts Isabella in Small Forest, it won't do it, because he'll just go to Grassy Field. I think Connie to Small Forest and then move Isabella. Oh, he's actually going to end up doing Dawn to take away that 2 power. I think this is another case of, do you want to stop your opponent's pressure on you, or do you want to stop your opponent's progress gain more? And it seems like Pumpkin King is much more of a player that instead of trying to protect himself and rush his own objective, he's instead going to focus on weakening his opponent. We are going to see in It's Time to Go, words moving Crone into Norman and killing him because he had those minus tokens on him. Did I finish that thought right? Pumpkin King seems to be a player that focuses on slowing down his opponent more so than protecting himself so that he can rush uninterrupted. Which I think is a little different from my own playstyle, and that's why I'm calling a lot of what I expect his fates to be wrong, is because we just play very differently. Oh, using the time to go to not just move Crone, but also move Sarah over to Small Forest. Interesting. Then we're going to see a Fate from Azure. Is he debating if he wants to multi-Fate or not? He is going to multi-Fate, I think. I haven't been paying enough attention to this Isabella's discard pile. It's also very hard to do when there are 2 Isabellas to keep track of it. It's going to be a guarantee, or maybe not a guaranteed Mom as an enemy, but a 50-50 at Mom as an enemy. Not sure why he multied there. I guess we'll see when we see that other card later. That's going to buff up Norman again. And then Azure is going to schedule a card for 5 turns in the future. Holy cow. The Long Con. Betting a lot on this game lasting another 5 turns, isn't he, chat? Pumpkin is going to go over to Small Forest. Could we see Norman go, move to Gracefield followed by a Bedtime here, potentially? No, we're going to see a Premium Farm thrown down, wants to get more power, and then just some heavy discarding. Followed by a Fate. Double Prison Break. Who is he going to move here? Just gonna move no one. He can just choose a hero, former hero, and then it's you may move them, so just choose not to move them. Azure is gonna go over to the gate and use Harvest to kill Phil here. That opens up his activate. Will he spin 2 for Demon List? Phil is in the discard. Gilda and Dawn are in play. Oh, he activated Radar to move Grandmother Sarah and then is scheduling a card for next turn. Interesting. And that will be his turn. Back over at the ranch with Pumpkin King. It's daytime. Gotta get the cows out. And that's going to be Ray. Probably he wants to cover the gate here, I imagine, to get that activate covered, and he can put the bell or radar. He can force a reshuffle here for Azure and put radar or bell into it. Azure would have to get pretty lucky to see either of them again anytime soon. Could also double cover Small Forest to try and keep that protected, or could, honestly... Actually, I could see a world where you put Ray at the bottom Fate just to cover the discard there, and force the Caring Mother. But I do think playing Ray there and forcing the reshuffle, and what did he choose there? He chose Radar. Yeah, because Bell isn't very good right now. It just reshuffled. I think that was probably the right call. That'll be the end of his turn. What is this scheduled card? It is Litany Test. And that will just be a -1 on Dawn, but that means that Azure can now, because there's only one other face-down card, I had to remind myself how Litany Test works. Azure could open Small Forest here with Sister Crone without losing her, and it appears that's what he's going to do. That will trigger Premium Farm for 2. And then, oh, I didn't see the fate. He multi-fated for Prison Break, and he's going to move Emma to strengthen Dawn again, I believe is what happened. I didn't realize the fate was happening. Sorry about that. And then a daily report to gain 3 at Grandmother Sarah's turn, doing some discarding. And that'll be that. And now we will see Pumpkin King going over to the gate, gaining 3. He's going to harvest Emma to just get her out of there finally. And then are we going to see Demon List? Clean territory. Seems like a pretty good time to go for the other Demon List. It'll only cost 2 power. And because Norman is already in play, Pumpkin King doesn't really care if he gets a 5 or a 3 strengther, but he'd prefer a 3 strengther. Obviously, they're easier to weaken. I think Pumpkin is realizing that and is taking his turn back because he wants to Demon List first, potentially. Oh no, he's just gonna time to go Sister Crone and keep the harvest for later. That's also very fair. And then use Radar to move Norman. Ah, okay. And then he has a bedtime. All right, he realized a much better turn, getting Norman to 0, still getting Emma out of here, clean territory, but Norman has a long way to go. Also, he gets to keep his harvest in hand so that he could potentially use it on Norman later as long as he can get some moves off. Azure isn't happy about that and is going to be going for some fates immediately. Also hitting a bedtime on Gilda and Emma. Weakening them up something fierce. Gilda's back to 0. Emma only has 1 strength. Which means Emma can be clashed with, potentially. And Azure is going to get Prison Break and Ray. Prison Break does nothing here, but he can get rid of the radar, which is going to make it harder to move Norman. And following that, what is Azure going to do? These two should really, like, stop fighting each other and, like, combine their forces. Like, Azure has a 3 strengther. Pumpkin King has a 5 strengther. They could achieve Isabella's objective if they just, like, work together. Put aside their differences and all that. Pumpkin is going to go straight over to the small forest, start moving Norman over to the gate. He might have it. It's time to go. No, he has Bell, actually, which is a good way to get back. It's time to go, because I think there's one in his discard, and he's going to discard a bit in Fate. Fire and Insider's Knowledge. Insider's Knowledge could really mess up this long-term schedule he's put down and take away some of this power that Azure has stockpiled. Fire would let him know what the card is. Gilda is at 0, but has a far way to go before getting harvested. It looks like it will be Insider's Knowledge to lose 2. Will he put a token on the face down? I don't think he is. I think he just wants to get rid of that 2 power and nothing else. This was probably a bit of a Hail Mary in the first place, but it could be something like Harvest, because it is going to be a nighttime play. You're going to see Azure move over Grandmother Sarah, so this card will be cheaper on his next turn, as will this one, because he's scheduling it for 1 day. Makes a lot of sense. I imagine one of them is probably a time to go. We're going to see a Fate, which is going to get Mom as an enemy in Gilda. That's going to take 2 of those tokens off of Norman. Norman is in position at Grassy Field to immediately lose 2. If, Pumpkin can get the playing tag card, whatever it's called. And that's the end of Azure's turn. What is Pumpkin going to do here? Going to do a Fate to try and disrupt Azure? Indeed he is. Which did trigger Caring Mother. To get a -1 on Ray so he can be targeted by Crone now. We're going to see a Harvest played by Pumpkin on Ray to get him out of there. And following that, we'll have a Fate. Mom is an enemy in Prison Break. There's a world where you could move Emma to Ray here to take the -1 off of Ray, but I feel like Mom is an enemy on Gilda, probably. Or Ray. Oh, actually gonna move Ray and get the Bell out of there. That also seems very fair. Just use Prison Break to move Ray there and affect that. A little bit of discarding. Really hates Grandmother Sarah. Does not like that card. Probably wishes he could just remove it from his deck. Alright, so we're going to see True Colors and They Know here. Okay. So I imagine only one of these can be played, and it will be They Know. Interesting. Thought there was a possibility we could see a, see True Colors here to just go get rid of Emma, gain some power, maybe Demon List this turn to try and, get a 5 strengther out on, because I think this is, unless this is a guaranteed 3 strength hero, I don't remember. Could have had a chance at Emma or Norman with the Demon List going out of True Colors. But is instead going for They Know and scheduling it for next turn. Going to the gate to gain some power. We might still see the activate. Probably doesn't really want to activate while Emma and Ray are both out. Low chance of getting a 5-strengther, and that's what Azure really wants right now. We're going to see in It's Time to Go. Going to kill Emma like this or kill Ray? It's going to be Ray. Get him out of there. Demon List? Still no Demon List. We're going to see a daily report to do a move to put Grandmother Sarah here so that this card will be cheaper next turn. Interesting. Meanwhile, Pumpkin is going to go over to Small Forest. He did have free time, which is going to get Norman back to 0 and move him over. In a pretty good position to potentially get that... we're going to see a Multi-Fate Mom as an enemy to buff Gilda back up. Discarding True Colors and Litany Test. Really wants to get Harvest in hand for Norman now, or Vita, one or the other. And Azure is going to get to play Belle for free here because of Grandmother Sella. Sarah? Words? I've been talking too much today. The game that happened right before this one, I recorded a couple hours ago, and I did a 3-hour stream before that. So, you know, I'm on my last legs. Emma is a very strong pull for Azure here. That's really going to hurt Pumpkin, getting Norman back to 2 strength and also covering the top fate at the same time. And then Azure is going to get Vita out here. It's not just me, right? This game feels like it's gone so much longer. It's probably because I've had a really long day. Every time I look at the clock, I'm like, we got to be getting close to time, right? And it's like, nah, dude, we're not. Neither of them are even at half yet. Radar play from Pumpkin, and then some discarding, followed by a Fate. Ray's back. And he's going to be able to get rid of the Bell and cover the top Fate immediately. And that will be the end of Pumpkin's turn. Azure heading over to the gate. What are we going to see from him here? He's finally going to Demon List. I was about to say, he does not have a great chance, but he might have Bedtime in hand is why he went for it. Indeed, he does. So it's going to get Gilda and Phil to 0, so it's going to be much harder to stop either Gilda or Phil 1 ending up at the gate. Then we're going to see with his last play a schedule, probably a 1-coster or a 0-coster if it's premium farm. If it is premium farm, he would have just played it, but set aside for Grandmother Sarah to make it cheap. Pumpkin King is going to head over to the gate as well. Are we going to see him Demon List also here? We're going to see a playing tag that's going to get a -1 on Norman and Emma. Followed by another playing tag, so that'll get Norman back to 0, and Emma is all tokened up now for Sister Crone to potentially kill. And activating Radar to move Norman over. Was probably double-checking to see if there was a any kind of movement option for Emma to undo this Norman weakness. It's time to go for Azure here. He's going to move Crone to Emma to kill her, and then presumably move one of the children towards the gate. Oh, you can use Crone like that. I didn't know you could use Crone like that. I have played so little Isabella. I did not help playtest this character at all. I have very little experience with her. Gonna see a playing tag to get that -1 on Ray, so now he is an easy target for Sister Crone. And then just some heavy discarding from Azure. And on his fate, he's going to get Connie and Prison Break. Prison Break is going to move Emma over and once again take 2 of those strength tokens off of Norman. Neither of these players can seem like they can get one of those kids harvested. Just having a really tough time with it. Pumpkin, gonna head over to Gracefield. Gonna use the Bell, pay 1 to take a card back. What card is it gonna be? It's gonna be Family Dinner. And then immediately gonna play it. To get Norman back to 0. And then harvest him as well. Incredible. Had an answer for that Emma play there. Now just has to get a 3-strengther. And on his Demon List activate, it will be free. What are we going to see from Azure here? He's going to get his bell back out and then use it, presumably. So he's using a play for bell, and then he's activating the bell. Oh, no, changing his mind. Oh, he's going to go do it at Gracefield instead, which is going to trigger Carrying Mother. Ah, he wants to trigger Carrying Mother right now when the only target is an already weakened Emma. That makes sense. Now he's going to gain 2. Is it just going to be Bell, activate Bell again? Indeed it is. It's going to take up all of his power to both play and activate it. He's going to get in It's Time to Go. Definitely what he wants to play. And then scheduling a card for Into the Future. Probably not next turn, because he's not going to be able to afford it. A good 3 turns away. That'll last a little while. Pumpkin has taken the lead with getting Norman harvested, going to Grassy Field, using Daily Report to gain 3 at Emma's location, and then just some heavy discarding, wants to get some other cards, get to some other cards, words. Connie and Dawn here, probably Connie, because Dawn isn't losing any strength, or losing any power, I mean. Honestly, at this point, with a little bit of a lead, I really feel like moving Isabella to the bottom fate is the play. Although we know that Azura has time to go, so he probably wants to go to a power gain location and play it. But I feel like his turn will be moving... Yeah, if you don't put him there, I feel like his turn is go to the bottom fate, gain 1, play It's Time to Go, fate. So I think that was the right call by Pumpkin. Could still see Small Forest opened up by Sister Crone here, but that means that basically no progress will be made by Azure. And instead, he's going to go over to Gracefield. Oh, so he can do It's Time to Go plus Radar here to get Phil or Gilda all the way over. But he's actually going to move them both at the same time. It is possible. Oh, and he's going to do one move on Crone to kill Ray. Very fair. Now, it is possible that instead of going for a 5-strengther to round out his getting to 8... Azure could just go for 3 3-strengthers, which are much easier to manage. We're going to see the the activate on the demon list and straight into bedtime, a classic play. That'll get Phil to 0. Yeah, it was a scheduled token, not a strength token, I just realized. So that's going to get Phil down to 0. So now Pumpkin just needs to get Phil over to the gate and harvest him, and that'll basically be game. And he's throwing down a Tifari Offerings as well. 1 turn away from that scheduled card for Azure. What do we got here? What do we got here? Going to the gate. Not applying any fate pressure right now. Really wants to play some cards. And also is now set up for Grandmother Sarah on that scheduled card. Not going to be able to harvest one of these kids with any It's Time to Go shenanigans. Oh, we're going to kill Connie here with Harvest. Interesting. I was going to say, it'll be day tomorrow, so not going to be able to do any shenanigans with scheduled cards to harvest a kid immediately. We are going to see the activate on Radar to get Gilda a little bit closer, and following that, a scheduled card. I imagine this is probably It's Time to Go, so that Phil can be moved all the way, or Phil can be moved 1 and Gilda can be moved closer. Pumpkin going straight for some easy moves within It's Time to Go. This is really putting the heat on Azure now, because tomorrow is night, and it seems very likely that Pumpkin could draw either Vita or the other card will do it. Didn't get a hero, unfortunately, but is going to take away that power and add a token to one of these. That was the long-term one he had put down. But Pumpkin King is at WinCon, actually. If he has Harvest, he can go to the gate, clash Emma, and do the thing. We're going to see a playing tag, which does nothing here, unfortunately, for Azure. Could have potentially helped if Gilda got hit by anything specific, but wasn't. Azure basically has to fade here. He's got to try and do something, because the odds of Pumpkin being able to win on his turn are quite high. He's going to move Gilda into position at the gate. It's not nighttime and doesn't have any power, so he's not going to be able to do anything. I think Pumpkin is pretty poised to be able to win this one, but of course, a comeback can always happen. Big discard, followed by a fate. Dawn stops the win, but this does not stop the potential harvest. It stops Vita. Vita can't happen now. Vita would have required being at the gain 2 activate. Oh, he did draw 3 cards, so that's going to be Teferi Offerings, and it turns out that Pumpkin is not going to use that. I saw Never's name up there. Gaining 3 Harvest. He does have the Harvest that is going to put him in Showdown, and he can just immediately clash Emma. Does he have its time to go? Daily Report the activate into the Crone kill. Wow, very, very good finish by Pumpkin. So Daily Activate into the, Daily Report into the activate, let him use Radar to move Sister Crone, sack Crone to Dawn, and then just clash Emma because Emma was at 1 strength, as was Isabella. That was a very, very good finish from Pumpkin King. Very well played game. Oh, man. I feel like I've gone through a marathon. We're getting a 3rd game here, though, which is fantastic. I am very, very much looking forward to seeing this last one. That Isabella mirror was an event that we all lived through, chat. So, I think we'll have a jump cut here. Oh, no, wait, never mind. Maybe I don't need a jump cut. I like to not have to do a jump cut if I don't have to, because it's easier for me to remember when editing. I'm always worried that I'm going to accidentally forget to do a jump cut. But these guys, they're going fast. They're going fast. And I was talking during that. It wasn't dead silence. So no jump cuts. No jump cuts. Just like no capes. Now, it should be... Azure should be starting player because Pumpkin won. So Azure should be banning first. And then Azure is going to get to counterpick Pumpkin. They are both thinking very hard about this. This last game, it means a lot. These are both very skilled players. This has probably been one of the most intense matches we've had in round 1, and we've gone through the majority of them. Okay, no Isabella in this game. Thank you. Thank you, Azure. You've saved me. I don't know if I could commentate another Isabella game at this point. I'm running on fumes when it comes to Isabella commentary here. Will Pumpkin be banning Dio again? What was that noise? It was my dog sneezing. Will Pumpkin be banning Dio, or is he considering something different? Like I was saying, this ban is very important. He is going to ban Dio. This is a very important moment here because going to the 3rd game, both these players are very, very good, as they've shown. They've been going toe-to-toe here. And we are going to see Pumpkin King play Light, who I believe might be the character he's best with, or at least one of the characters he considers himself to be really best with. Azure, meanwhile, will be counterpicking Light with Gendo. Yep, this is, Gendo is typically very favored here. I actually don't know how skilled Azure is with Gendo. I can't really remember seeing him play a lot of Gendo. I know that Azure plays a good amount of Loxus and Crocodile, but I've never, to my recollection, seen him play Gendo. He might have played Gendo in last year's tournament, and I just don't remember it. But this matchup typically heavily favors Gendo. Light has a hard time, in my experience, being able to beat Gendo's speed cap, as it were. Gendo typically gets to a win before Light can, and Light also has trouble quick fading for red alerts in the late game when Gendo can cover that top fate and make it a little annoying to recover. We are going to see the mulligan from Light. Doesn't like his starting hand. And Gendo also gets to go first here. Will Azure go to Terminal Dogma to try and block that top fade out the gate, or will he do the classic Nerve HQ play? It's almost always right to go to Nerve HQ, but there are times when you can do what Azure is doing right here. If you've got the hand for it, go to Terminal Dogma instead and get that initial fade off, because you probably won't be going back to Terminal Dogma for a good while. L off the rip is pretty good, and he's actually going to block Light's apartment with L rather than Yellow Box. Fair enough. I feel like Light is really going to enjoy this turn 1 Yellow Box, depending on how good his hand is or not, because you do want to fate Gendo right out the gate. You want to block Terminal Dogma. You probably want to do like a normal fate, maybe 2, maybe a normal fate into a multi-fate. You've got to be careful about pulling red alerts, but you also really... It's okay to get 1 red alert early, because if, you know, you tempt your opponent into using 3rd impact, it's worth your time. Because Gendo doesn't really want to use 3rd impact unless 2 angels are out. We're going to see a full fate. He's going to get a mass production Ava. Pretty much exactly what you're hoping to see. Either that or the other card I'm thinking of. Committee meeting. He is going to throw the mass production at Command Center. That is going to make Command Center a much weaker location. It is good to cover Command Center to block that activate and gain 2. I wonder about doing it off the rip, because I feel like Light would really appreciate fate-locking Gendo for potential patient plottings. Now Gendo is going to make his way over to Nerve HQ, do his big play of playing 2 cards and then discarding. He already did a pretty big discard at Terminal Dogma before. He's going to get Ray and Ava 00 out the gate immediately. Very strong opening. And then we're back over to Pumpkin King, who's going to go to Task Force HQ and get some of that light fate pressure underway. He's going to do another full fate. He's going to get Committee Meeting and a Red Alert. I was about to say, honestly, I'd play Committee Meeting here and block up that Terminal Dogma. Very good. So it ended up working out for him. It was possible. If he had not pulled Committee Meeting or Mass Production there, then Gendo would have gotten free use of Terminal Dogma to get some more heavy fate pressure going on Gendo, but luckily he got the committee. And Azure is going to immediately trigger Kira Cult when it has nothing to work on, and just immediately Clash Committee Meeting. And, oh, he is going to discard Asuka and then Clash Committee Meeting and end his turn. But, yeah, we've seen some games where people don't find the time to get rid of Committee Meeting. You really have to make the time to get rid of Committee Meeting. Otherwise, it will haunt you for a very long time. Dead Betrayal is really good to see here. This is going to be Seal Interference on Ava 00, or 00, however I said it earlier. I'm definitely consistent, I promise. And following that, Light is going to throw out a Patient Plotting, so this is probably going to force a Tokyo 3 turn from Azure. He does not want to let Light get this Patient Plotting. And just about every fate will stop this other than, like, double complications, so pretty safe bet. Oh, I saw the first complications. Oh, or Alias. I forgot that Alias also wouldn't stop it. Very unfortunate draw. He is going to complicate the Battle of Wits at least, so he got something out of it, but this does mean Pumpkin is going to get his first name, and it's actually going to be L's name. Not all that useful, because you're not going to be trying to kill L with your ability here anyway. That is a Dead Fate, the Gendo Classic. Whew, man. 8 cards deep. No, we saw 1 Red Alert. He just didn't play it right. And we're going to see another Patient Plotting here. Not worried about the fate. This is definitely going to be a Terminal Dogma turn from Azure. Way less likely to get that same Dead Fate as last time. You see, these early Patient Plottings is why I thought the Mass Production probably would have been better off a Terminal Dogma at the end of the day, but still works. What is Azure doing here? Is he considering a multi? Oh, maybe just a bit of lag. Prison. Prison works great here. And that will trigger Paranoid Prep. You're supposed to do Paranoid Prep before the Fader plays the fake card, but, like, Imprisoned Accusation, this was an obvious play. Who really cares? We're going to see Azure throw down a Nerve Tank to protect Terminal Dogma in the future. Patient Plotting is going to do nothing because Light is in jail. Do not collect 200. Do not, etc., etc. Does Pumpkin have 2 schemes in hand? We could see a Yagami Residence gain 3 double play scheme. Because really, you need to get rid of Imprisoned ASAP. He's actually going to go to Yellow Box. He's going to God of the New World a scheme out, presumably. It is going to be Battle of Wits. Makes a lot of sense. Discard Misa. And following that, we will have... There's a Red Alert. Since Azure has not been getting heroes and he decided to throw L straight to Light's apartment, although Light probably would have moved L to his apartment at some point, but, you know, it would have made him do a turn to do that. We have been seeing Light put out some really strong fate pressure, so almost getting to a reshuffle here. Azure is going to go over to Command Center after Armisail was played, by the way. Nice 5-strengther. Azure doesn't like seeing that out the gate, but he's going to go over to Command Center, use the Nerve Tank to clear out that Mass Production, gain 2, throw himself down another Nerve Tank, and that is going to move Armisail as he draws at the end of his turn. What are we going to see from Pumpkin here? I was about to say, now seems like a really good turn for Yagami. Gain some power, throw out another scheme, and... Oh, he's actually going to play Mikami into Shimagami Eyes, and then discard Desperate Gambit. Must not have the scheme he needs to get out of prison. Azure debating where he wants to go here. I think Terminal Dogma is probably the smart money, but it depends on what's in his hand. He's actually going to go to Tokyo 3. Does he have a Nerve Artillery to play? Yes, sir, he does. And he's going to put the Nerve Artillery at Command Center, actually. I'd normally put them at Nerve HQ myself, but I can understand the reasoning behind putting him over there. We're going to see Aizawa and Watari. I feel like Aizawa is definitely the play here, because L is already out. Gonna put Aizawa... I would probably put it at yellow box. I understand that you're Gendo, and Gendo usually does well under heavy fate pressure, but, like... with how, like, the thing is that Light really likes yellow box, not just for the fate. Like, gaining discard play is very strong, and the fate is the cherry on top, basically. And also, like, fating this close to the reshuffle, knowing that there's only one red alert out of these 5 cards, honestly, if I was Light, I would be full fating every turn to get through them. I'd probably even play Sync Failed here. But also playing Red Alert can work. Sync Failed doesn't do a lot. Neither of these do a lot because the Red Alert will just play out an Angel that is going to get third impacted. But, I understand what Azure is doing, not worrying about being fated too much because he's Gendo, and that's how Gendo normally is. However, because it's Light who can fate so heavily, Azure is letting Light really easily get to this reshuffle and get through this deck. So he's basically, it is going to end up being the Red Alert. Pumpkin thought about that a lot. He's going to be right back in the same bucket of syrup by the time he plays Adam, that all of the red alerts are lined up and ready to go. We are going to see Sachiel thrown down, and that will be the end of his turn. We also saw Chief Yagami get played to yellow box to protect it. There's the Adam third impact play. So that will get rid of both of them. The red alerts are all in the discard, so they do have to reshuffle. However, Gendo does not have a good setup for dealing with this situation. And Light has an uncovered yellow box and has just gotten out of prison. This could still go either way very much. Because, second guessing, getting rid of imprisoned here? I mean, you're nowhere near a reshuffle, so. Using just as planned on Battle of Wits to play 2 schemes, to play another Cure Cult and Paranoid, and then doing it that way, so he'll still have a Paranoid prep out. Very smart, very smart. The thing is that Azure is not super set up to deal with the Angels as they come. This is a pretty good mass production Ava. Probably want to throw it at Terminal Dogma, to be honest, because Azure does not want to be using his Vanquishes on things that are not Angels right now. Or he's Fruit of Lifing Armisail. That's also fair enough. I can understand the thought process here. I feel like getting the mass production Ava out before the reshuffle, though, would have probably been more worth his time at the end of the day. And Azure is going to go straight over here. Presumably, he has a robot to play on Ray. He can play any of the Avas, and then Ray plus the Nerve Tank will be able to beat Armisail. As I always say, and as most Gendo games go, this is really about to come down to this reshuffle on where the red alerts are, because Azure is not well set up to deal with a slew of Angels. He doesn't even have Ava Cage out. He's only gone through half of his deck, and we see he's playing the Magi now to try and go through his deck faster. And that is going to move Armisail out of position for a Ray robot kill. But the problem for Azure right now, even though he's at 1 token and doesn't really have heroes out, he's going to be a slave, not a slave, I was going to say a slave to the reshuffle. He's going to be, like, decided by the reshuffle here on the red alerts coming back out, and because he never took the time to try and block up Yellow Box Warehouse, Light can really quickly go through this deck. And we're going to see a Kiyomi play here, okay. But at the same time, Light only has 1 name, so he's got a long way to go. He was in prison for a good while. Multi-fading the mass production? I don't agree with that. I would have full-faded because you are more likely to get a card that is not red alert alongside the mass production, and what you really want right now is to get to those red alerts. That could come back to bite Pumpkin, because that just leaves a little more RNG up for the for how this is gonna go. Matsuda is really good here as well. Matsuda to the top fate, move Light to Task Force HQ would be a very strong play from Azure here. And especially because of that multi-fate, that's just even more likely that the red alerts would go in Gendo's favor. Because it's going to be 3 out of 14 cards. Yeah, and now he's not going to get to fate next turn. Gendo is still not very well set up, though, so this can still very much go in Pumpkin's favor. But historically, Light doesn't like this matchup. We're going to see a social manip from Aizawa, and he's actually going to use it to move Aizawa. That also does trigger Purpose of Nerve, so Gendo gains 2, which is very nice. And following that, he's going to spend 1 to throw down a Misinfo. Gendo very likely to be discarding 2 cards from his hand, mainly because the Magi exists. And that will be Pumpkin King's turn. Azure is going over to Command Center to open back up Terminal Dogma and also get a mass production Ava. This is another thing you might not realize about Gendo. He's going to put Ava 0/0 on Ray, which is very good. This is something you might not realize about Gendo is he... but Armisail moves, so it's not uncovered. But still, something Gendo really also likes is to get rid of his heroes so that they are in the Fate deck, because anytime your opponent is playing a hero instead of a Red Alert while you're in the Atom situation is good for you. Oh, that might be game deciding. Holy cow. Double Red Alert there really, really hurts. And that's really why he should have done a full Fate last turn instead of multi-fating the mass production Ava. Now, the saving grace here, this is still a possible win for Light. We're going to see adjust his plan on Misinfo to move Mazda because he knows he's got to get some Fate pressure going now. But the saving grace here, however, is that I believe whatchamacallit is still in the discard. Third Impact. We're also going to see another Misinfo thrown out by Pumpkin. And he has a Shinigami Eyes set up and he needs power, so it's a good place to go right now. Azure is going to be moving Ray. Interesting. I think what Azure really needs to do right here is get back to Third Impact. Throwing down an Ava Cage, which will move Tabris. But the fact that Azure went into Atom without having a great setup is definitely going to hurt him here. And we're going to see him play Mellow straight to Yagami to discard. I was going to say defeat. To discard Mikami and the Shinigami Eyes. So that will be a name that Pumpkin will not be getting. Pumpkin's going to keep going over to Yellow Box. He really needs to keep Fate pressure right now because with only 1 Red Alert, he needs to get back to another reshuffle, as funny as it is to say. Ridiculous that, like... This is what happens when you don't cover Yellow Box against Light, is Light has the possibility to go through your Fate deck 3 times. But that's what Pumpkin really wants to do here now because he got very unlucky with 2 Red Alerts on top. He doesn't care if he finds the other Red Alert right now. That doesn't really matter to him, especially because Third Impact is in the discard. His best shot of winning this game, of making it last long enough to... I was going to trigger Marduk Institute because he discarded an ally from his hand. His best shot of winning this game is to cycle back around fast enough to reach the thing. Whatever I was saying. To reach another reshuffle of Red Alerts. Azure is going to try and avoid having to dig for... it does move Tabris, that's funny. Azure is going to try and avoid having to... Oh, that's really unfortunate. He was going to try and avoid having to go back around for Red Alert by instead going for being able to kill with Asuka. I'm going to be honest, I really think he should go to Terminal Dogma here, activate Magi, discard his entire hand, and clash Asuka. He needs to get back to Third Impact. If he can reshuffle to... he's going to stick with trying to just kill through them. That's also a fair strategy. I can't really fault him for it. But I feel like he has a better chance of abusing Magi and his discard action to speedrun his way back to the card, because he can also get his hands on Fruit of Knowledge. Fruit of Knowledge plus Magi, maybe he could get Ritsuko out, do some heavy discards. He's got to clash Asuka at some point, really. I really feel like that's what he should go for, but instead he's going to take this strategy, which, fair enough. I'd play Mass Production Ava here. You don't need another Red Alert. Mass Production, cover the, cover that right there. It's going to make it even harder. This is why I think that Azure really just needs to focus on going for the other thing instead. We're going to see a Desperate Gambit, and that is going to get him Aizawa's name, and then Aizawa's name is immediately going to be put back by Alias. Light is in a pretty good position. He's got a really strong hold on Yellow Box, so he really can't afford to just hard Fate spam and just slowly throw out stuff, play out some Desperate Gambits now and then like he just did to try to get a name token. What is Azure gonna do here? He's gonna go to Tokyo. He wants to Fate. He's gonna move Ray over again. Another problem that he has here with trying to go for this hard kill instead of just heavy relying on, like, see, like right here, Fruit of Knowledge, just discard everything, get a reshuffle is what I would do. But instead he's going to go for the kill, but his problem with doing this is he's now, like, Tokyo 3 is so open. And, like, he's got to get some other cards here to deal with the angels that are going to come out once he manages to kill Tabris and Armisael. But he's got to use all of those allies to get rid of Tabris and Armisael instead. Here we're going to see Nier and Mogi. This is a very good... This is going to trigger Paranoid Prep. Very good opportunity for him to try and cover up Yellow Box. Pumpkin King is going to do some discarding to get to some other cards. He really wants to see, like, social manips and whatnot right now. Yep. Full cover on the board. Very fair. And now he's covered Yellow Box and moved Chief Yagami out of position. That will be the end of his turn. Pumpkin is going to go over to Yagami Residence and Social Manip. He's going to move Mellow again. He doesn't have a name, though. He's going to play Patient Plotting, guaranteed name. Very fair. Very fair. And now he has an open space for not only double playing, but potentially using his ability in the future. Azure is going to use Ray and her Ava here to open back up Command Center. I think is a very strong play to do on his way to potentially moving Ray. Oh, he's gonna Fruit of Knowledge. He didn't. I'm surprised he's not Ava caging and getting Ray set back up again. He can go hard for third impact here. I'm surprised that he bothered moving Ray all the way over here instead of just using the Nerve Artillery or moving Shinji over to do this Vanquish and leaving Ray at Tokyo 3 if his plan is to try and get to third impact. The fact that he is not discarding everything means that one of these cards must be third impact. Or it was a bunch of allies and he's still planning on just killing through Tabris and Armisael, which I really don't think is the right thing to do. That is going to trigger Misinfo. A lot of discards from Azure there. He's going to move Nier over there to open up Task Force HQ. Moving Nier over there instead of moving L, I'm not sure about that because I think none of these are red alerts, right? He really needs to get through this Fate deck. Unless he thinks he can get 6 names before Gendo can get third impact and win, which I don't find likely. Mass production at Command Center is good here, but I think there's a world where you could have done Seal Interference on Ava 01 just to leave... Just to reshuffle this setup of Fruit of Knowledge, although he did draw a couple of those Fruit of Knowledge cards, as well as prevent kills happening here. Open up Shinji to another future betrayal. Azure is going to go over to... We also saw a Battle of Wits played by Light. Azure is going to go over to... What is this called? Nerve Headquarters. A lot of power on Gendo. He has a lot of power he can spin. Gendo doesn't need to have a lot of power. He just doesn't want to be close to 0. As long as he's around, like, 3 power, he's in a good position. We're going to see him throw down Misato and Ritsuko. He's setting up the major draw engine because he just needs to get to third impact. That's really his win con here. And if he can get there fast enough, then he's got this. With the position of the red alerts. Especially because Pumpkin is not focusing on getting Fate pressure back. I think he's instead decided to try and race, which could work out in his favor, depending on how his names go and how his fates go. He's got 3 names. He's in a pretty decent position. He's got power to spend. He doesn't have anyone in position for Shinigami Eyes, though, is the main problem, and Ryuk isn't in play. So... it could be rough. We are going to see the Nerve Artillery used to defeat the mass production Ava here. Going to gain 2 and then presumably activate the Magi. He really just needs to get third impact. See another Nerve Artillery thrown down. Activate the Magi for 3. Oh no, he just ended his turn. Why did he drop to 5? Why did he drop to 5 there? Oh, did he activate Misato for a play and that made him draw 2 and then he ended his turn? That's how he did it instead. We're going to see a move of Chief Yagami back to Yellow Box to start opening it and a social manip. Light is at 4 names. This game is really going to get down to the wire. do we yet have a third impact? And we're going to see an Ava 00 put back on Ray. Are you going to start moving Ray back to Tokyo 3, though? Nier and Mogi. Pretty good Nier turn or Mogi turn, because Mogi can just put light at Task Force. Although I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look like... I'm pretty sure that Pumpkin has accepted that he just has to win first instead of have fate pressure. Because he hasn't been... He had that chance to open Yellow Box earlier. He was setting up opening a Yellow Box here, and he might do it right here with Yagami. He is going to open back up Yellow Box. Does he have Social Manip or God of the New World to use Social Manip to get a 5th name? He isn't going to get to kill anyone here. As soon as he gets an open area turn, he will be able to get some kills in. Although, no, it's just Aizawa at the time, but still. Oh, he's going to Shinigami Eyes. That makes a lot of sense because this is guaranteed, because there's no way that Azure can open this. That is better than Social Manip here. Very good call. Very well played by Pumpkin on that one. I would have been an idiot and just immediately Social Manip. That's why I don't play light. This is going to trigger Misinfo. Just super stack them. Super stack them. Yeah. So he's going to let Azure... There's the third impact. So he has 3 tokens to go, and there are no upcoming red alerts. I think all 3 of them are in the discard. The problem, though, is that all of his children are out of place. He is going to kill Asuka here using Shinji's robot, which is fair, because now his top fate is open. He really needs that. So Azure really wants... Or not Azure. Pumpkin really wants to close that. And Pumpkin is at 5 names. He's going to get to kill Matsuda or Aizawa at the end of this turn. Honestly, I think Matsuda might be the one to kill, because Aizawa's hero movement would be really disruptive to the stack he has. Also, well, actually, no, in that case, he should kill Aizawa because the reshuffle isn't happening anytime soon. He wants to avoid accusations. Committee meeting is great here. It's probably the hero you want to see most. Block up Terminal Dogma again. That will be his turn. And Light is at a reshuffle. He's getting to draw 5 cards each turn because of Kiyomi. He's in a very strong position. We're going to see Sandolphin for Azure here. He does not have anyone there to get the kill. That nerve tank isn't strong enough. And if he plays any effects, then Sandolphin is going to move. Honestly, Tokyo 3, Fate, and move Ray closer back into position is probably the play here. There's an accusation. This is a really strong accusation. He can do Matsuda to put Light at Task Force, or you can do Aizawa to double stack Yellow Box. I don't know which one would be better here. He could also accuse Mello to kill Kiyomi, which I don't think is a bad play. Honestly, the more I think about it, I might even do the Kiyomi play, but I also understand doing this because he doesn't want Light to be able to get to that reshuffle. His win con is basically dependent on it. Oh, yeah, and that was playing, I guess Fate effects do count for this as well. I didn't even consider that, so that is going to move Sandolphin. He can get Ray into position, and he's going to kill Shinji with Horrible Truth to get Sandolphin out of there. Not too bad, not too bad. He is still fate-locked, though, so a patient plotting could be pretty strong here. And Matsuda is going to die, and there is a patient plotting. Yep, yep. And this is going to be a kill Matsuda turn. Paranoid Prep is out. And then a huge discard of 3 schemes. I don't know if I would have discarded all of those in fear of, whatever it is I'm thinking of. In fear of a future imprisoned. Probably would have kept Battle of Wits, but also he does need to rush here, so he needs to get his correct cards. What is this? After playing an ally, he can't activate the robot and play an ally all this turn to get Sham's Shell to Ray and kill. He activated back the robot, which caused Ritsuko to have him draw 2. He's going to put Ava 02 on Ray. He's going to move Ray? How's he moving Ray here? Yeah, you can't move Ray here. That's not what those actions are. He's done all of his actions except for Vanquish. Oh, he's gonna play that instead of the Ava. That Ava goes back in his hand. But playing the Nerve Tank moves Shamshell. Yeah, and he's gonna have to ditch Ray here for this. Oh, he does have the Nerve Artillery, though. Yeah, there we go. That's a better play. Forgot that Nerve Artillery was there. I think he forgot it was there for a second, too. Ooh, baby, this game is gonna come down to the wire. Light is gonna get his 6th name token here. There he goes. He can kill a lot of these people right now. And depending on what this... ooh, Fruit of Life. Mass production is also good here, but honestly, Fruit of Life into, like, Armisail could really hurt. I think Armisail would be the strongest one to put here. He's going to put the mass production at Terminal Dogma. Fair enough. There is actually a world where, depending on the angel that comes out and what cards... Putting an eye on Kiyomi. And what cards, whatchamacallit, draws here? Azure draws here, that Light could get a reshuffle. He would have to really top deck a red alert for that to work, though. He needs 2 more name tokens. He's slowly killing everyone that's out, though. There's the last token. Ooh, Ariel. Not exactly who you want to see here. We're going to see the Fate first, Prison and Accusation. That's going to trigger Paranoid. Imprisoned is pretty good here, but honestly, I think Accusation Mellow is probably the play. Kill Kiyomi. Killing Kiyomi could be a bit of a death blow here, honestly. Yeah, exactly. That gets rid of that Shinigami Eyes. It gets rid of that extra draw that he really needs right now. It's going to move Armisail over. Or Ariel, I mean. Should that have moved that much? I think that should have only moved once. Did he discard something else that I missed? Did he activate or something? Seal interference and sync failed. Probably sync failed here, yeah. Yeah, so now he can't use Ray plus a robot. He's got to play out another ally. He could use Ray and 2 allies. There's a patient plotting, and he is fate locked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. God of the New World, the other patient plotting. Oh, baby. Light might sneak this from right under Gendo here. Ooh, man. He does not have Mello or Mogi's name, so he can't kill either of them here. He can't really afford to go for the kill on L because he needs to hit Showdown. He's going to be able to kill both of them next turn, though, assuming he goes to Yagami Residence. We're going to see Azure go over to Terminal Dogma. He must not have an ally in hand to be able to get the kill. He's going to activate back the Ava, which will have him draw 2. And then he's going to get Committee Meeting out of there. Not the best time to be killing Committee Meeting because they're going to be there for the reshuffle, and Committee Meeting coming back out, if it shuffles high, could be super dangerous. I think Light might have this game. It was a little touch and go there for both players. It looked like one was in the lead and then another was, but I think Light has really brought it back here because now he can just go kill Mogi and Mello. And if he has the Death Note, he can even get the first kill on L. He's going to do a huge discard. And then he's just discarding everything except for one card, which might be Rem. Oh, and then he's killing Mello. That makes sense. For some reason, I thought I already had Death Note out and he'd also be able to kill Mogi, but that doesn't make any sense. Gonna see Azure move Nerve Tanks over to Ariel, aka Terminal Dogma. What's he gonna play here? Pumpkin King's trying to figure out what this last card is. He's gonna play Fruit of Knowledge. Good choice. Really needs to get through his deck right now. I think this might be the closest... This is definitely the closest game 3 we've had. This might be the closest set we've had throughout this entire thing. Getting a Fate here. He is going to get an alias. Probably just going to put either Mogi or L's name back, and it is going to be Mogi's. And now he's Fate locked, so he's not going to be able to Fate again for at least a turn. And with Yellow Box open, Light could actually just luck into some red alerts here. There's Rem, probably the one card he kept earlier. Either that or something like a delete. And then big discards, just wants to get to some other kill cards. We're going to see a full Fate here. Mass production, definitely a mass production play. Probably cover Command Center. I could even see covering Terminal Dogma here just to really make sure that that top Fate is locked down. This is This is Light's game to lose, I feel like. Is he going to hit L? He is going to hit L here, which is a little risky. That's going to put L's name back, so he needs to get Mogi or L's name. He can... If he can get either of their names to kill them that way, then he can move Rem for the last one. And he might actually... He can't be fated, so if he has a name in some fashion, he might have this. This might be game. Azure's going to play Ava 0-0 to get the mass production out of here. Gain 2. Gonna throw down a nerve tank. For those of you who don't know, Sync Fail only stops Gendo from defeating Angels, so he can still use the kids for the other stuff. He is going to immediately move Rem. He's not even going to try and see what name he gets first. He's just going to get L out of there so that he can't be accused. I assume Watery is in here, so L's probably not coming back. And then what are we going to... Is it going to be like a Desperate Gambit to see if you get the win, maybe? A lucky Desperate Gambit, but he also has a 50-50 of getting Mogi's name or not. He's actually going to throw down a misinfo... Maybe trying to set up for a just as planned. We're going to see Fruit of Life and Seal Interference. Probably just Seal Interference. I would Seal Interference the Magi, honestly, at this point. He's actually going to get a 5-strengther back, I think, so that if he hits a red alert, he can immediately play out a 5-strengther. Yeah, Tabris would be very, very difficult to deal with at this point. Very difficult to deal with. And Gendo is having to go to Tokyo 3 every turn to keep pressure. Gonna move Ray over to Terminal Dogma. Did get Watery. Watery is incredible here, because that means that Pumpkin is gonna have to deal with L again unless he can kill Mogi and Watery before either this turn or next. He has to do it this turn or next turn. He has to get them both. He does have a guaranteed kill on Watery if he just goes to Yagami Residence. And we're actually going to see the Ariel kill here. Ooh. Ooh, Gendo might have brought this right back, because now with Watery blocking the top fate, Light cannot fate. And all it takes is an ally play kill into mass production. Can Pumpkin King somehow get both kills this turn? Is it possible? I cannot believe how down to the wire this game has been. It really has gone from seeming like Light has it in the bag, to Gendo has it in the bag, to Light has it in the bag, to back and forth. Playing Ryuk, that's not a good sign. I don't think he has a way to do it. I don't think he has a way to do it, and all Azure needs is to have an ally in hand. If Azure has a tank or whatever in hand, then he wins. Does he have a tank or an artillery? If he does, it's game. I assume he does. Yeah, Shinji and a robot. Activate Misato. That will do it. Man, what a game. What a game. I really think that the mistake here by Pumpkin on this one was the fact that he there was that one turn where he had misinfo and he didn't open his top fate and he didn't hard focus Gendo. If he had gotten to a Gendo reshuffle faster, he could have pulled out another red alert. Entire game could have changed. He got a little unlucky that none of the red alerts did shuffle to the top. All of them are in the bottom 9 cards, but that is Gendo, 3 cards out of 15. But I think that might have been the deciding factor potentially in this game. It's hard to say because there was so much going on both ends, so many different routes both players could have taken. What an incredible game. Truly, truly a great game. Probably, honestly, might be the best match of round 1. I might even be willing to say. What a nail biter all the way through. So yeah, let's go look at the bracket and see how it's ended up now. And so after that very close game of 3 between Pumpkin and Azure, it will be Azure moving on to round 2 to face our very own QA member Falchion for a game to try and get into the semifinals. We've just got one more round 1 game to go, and then the round 2 games will be coming very quickly after. So look forward to it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, farewell.